Torino. Hello there, and welcome to WODDITY's live stream of the 20.4 CrossFit Open workout announcement. I am Ben Garves, the host of the WODDITY podcast for news about CrossFit. We do CrossFit news in 5 minutes or less, and today it is a cold October depending on where you are. Well, here we are on the eve of the fourth week of the 2020 CrossFit Open, and it's been a controversial doozy. We've seen hard-hitting penalties from the 2-foot takeoff rule and the burpees over the Hello there, and welcome to WODDITY's live stream of the 20.4 CrossFit Open workout announcement. I am Ben Garves, the host of the WODDITY podcast for news about CrossFit. We do CrossFit news in 5 minutes or less, and today it is a cold October depending on where you are. Fourth week of the 2020 CrossFit Open, and it's been a controversial doozy. We've seen hard-hitting penalties from the 2-foot takeoff rule and the burpees over the bar in 20.1, false starts in 20.2, prominent athletes like Lucas Hoegberg and Joey Tortora stepping down from competition mid-open, and Jacob Hettner being forced to do 20.3 on his fists. We'll be back in a couple of minutes, but first let's take a look at Ben Smith, one of the prominent athletes on the stage at Diablo CrossFit tonight. To stay up to date with elite fitness streams and news about the sport, subscribe to this YouTube channel right here, and be sure to follow the WODDITY podcast for news about CrossFit. Many know Ben Smith as the CrossFit Games champion of 2015, as seen in the Fittest on Earth documentary. Hardcore fans know Ben Smith as CrossFit's most durable professional athlete who has competed on the grandest stage for 11 straight seasons. What many don't recognize is the mental fortitude and toughness it took to battle back for the 2019 season. Smith's decade of performing at the highest level has taken its toll on his body. In January, he went under the knife to have his knee repaired. By the CrossFit Open in February, Smith was back to competition, but not at the same level he and fans were used to seeing. As the season progressed, he started to regain his legendary strength, but the late push for a sanctional qualifying spot wasn't enough to return him to the games. With the community rallying on his behalf, Smith earned a late wildcard invite to set the record for the most consecutive CrossFit Games individual appearances. Before his 2019 surgery, Ben Smith had never placed outside the top 100 in the CrossFit Open, with 2 third-place finishes in 2014 and 2015. From 2013 to 2017, Smith's average finish at the CrossFit Games was 4th, rivaling some of the greatest in the sport. Where Smith has historically struggled has been workouts with thrusters, burpees, and box jumps like 17.1 and 16.5. However, Ben's resume of event wins from the past decade reads off like Dave Castro's worst nightmare. It makes clear where his strengths lie, with barbells and upper body pulling. If the workout involves chest-to-bar pull-ups, squats, snatches, cleans, or muscle-ups, Ben Smith is going to place top 3. With a few more months to regain his strength in his knee, Ben Smith's 2020 season has a ceiling as high as ever. Welcome back to the WODDITY live stream of the 20.4 workout announcement. I'm Ben Garves from the WODDITY podcast for news about CrossFit. Athletes in 3 different countries are getting ready to throw down tonight, including Ben Smith, Shaun Sweeney, and Jason Carrroll at Diablo CrossFit in Northern California. They'll be joined simultaneously by athletes in Italy and Brazil. We have one big question mark tonight, and that is Annie Thorisdottir. Annie was announced as a part of the CrossFit Italian Showdown's live stream for this week, but we haven't heard confirmation as to whether she'll actually be throwing down. We've put together a breakdown of Annie's epic career. Stay tuned for the latest news about CrossFit, including a leaderboard update, 20.4 workout predictions, and we check in on James Newbury after his injury. WODDITY has your back as one place to get all of your elite fitness live streams, equipped with live commentary like what we are watching right now. Click the subscribe button for more on the sport. We'll be right back after this quick dig into Annie Thorisdottir's career. Annie Thorisdottir may go down in history as the athlete who inspired an entire generation of Icelandic dominance at the CrossFit Games. From Annie's first podium finish in 2009 through her latest podium finish in 2018, at least one woman from Iceland has been on the podium every year for a decade. In her career, Thorisdottir has won the CrossFit Open twice, in 2011 and 2015, followed by a second-place finish in 2019. She was the first woman to ever win 2 consecutive CrossFit Games titles in 2011 and 2012, paving the way for Katrin Davidsdottir and later Tia-Clair Toomey. Through all of this, Annie has never missed a step, with more than 20 top 3 finishes in CrossFit Games events. Some of Annie Thorisdottir's best events involve her shoulders, anything with a handstand push-up, handstand walk, overhead lunge, or overhead squat. These skills come from one of the strongest cores in the sport, which makes her deadly in events using the GHD sit-up. She also performs well when a rower is involved, whether in a shorter sprint or longer duration, like her third-place finish in 2018's Marathon Row event. As a taller athlete, 2 movements slow Annie down: thrusters and burpees. If these 2 movements aren't present, there are very few things Thorisdottir can't do at a legendary pace. Good evening and welcome back to WODDITY's live stream of the CrossFit Open's 20.4 workout announcement. Here is a breakdown of what we know about this mysterious workout. Just like the .3 workouts, .4 workouts were AMRAPs every year from 2011 to 2017. The most common movements for .4 workouts have been muscle-ups, handstand push-ups, and wall balls. Each of these has appeared 4 times. 16.4 and 17.4 were a repeat of themselves with a 13-minute AMRAP of deadlifts, wall balls, rowing, and handstand push-ups. We just repeated 18.4 with handstand push-ups, deadlifts, toes to bars, burpees, handstand walks, and snatches already happening in the 2020 Open. The most likely 4 movements we'll see are the muscle-up, wall ball shots, rowing, and cleans in some capacity. It's worth noting that the clean and jerk was sort of a part of 20.1's ground to overhead. 2 other movement families we haven't seen that are super likely to pop up are overhead movements like overhead squats or overhead lunges, and something using a box like a box step up or box jump over. We have yet to diverge from basic equipment, with the jump rope, dumbbells, barbells, and pull-up bar being the only equipment we have needed so far. This could be the year Dave Castro stays away from anything you may not have at home, like a rower and rings. More to come as we get ready for the live workout announcement of 20.4. I'm Ben Garves with WODDITY. Be sure to subscribe to this channel right here for more news about CrossFit. And we're back, only a few more minutes out from the start of the workout announcement. CrossFit publishes the event right at 5 p.m. Pacific to their website. While we wait, here's a quick dig into the latest news about the sport of fitness. James Newbury is doing well in recovery from a tough bike accident last week. Even with numerous broken bones, his prognosis has him returning to competition in 6 to 8 weeks. He'll miss the rest of the CrossFit Open, but still has a really great chance of qualifying for the games through a sanctional event. And here are the top 10 stories to follow from the CrossFit Open leaderboard 3 events in. It's worth noting these statistics are before any official notification from CrossFit regarding penalties, which will be assessed on 20.3. CrossFit announced last week on Wednesday evening and this week on Wednesday evening, so 20.3 penalties are expected next Wednesday evening. Annie Thorisdottir, after a disappointing outing placing 22nd in 20.2, threw down hard in 20.3, tying Brooke Wells for an event win. This moves her back up the overall standings to a tie with Carroll and Thibault for third in the world. Sarah Sigmundsdottir continues her year-over-year dominance in the CrossFit Open and currently leads second place Kristen Holte by 10 points. Kristen Holte is a force to be reckoned with, finishing 5th in 20.1 and 1st in 20.2. If not for reaching 20th in 20.3, Holte's average score of 3rd would pass Sigmundsdottir for the top spot. Despite performances in previous years, Emma McQuaid of Ireland remains in the top 5, showing significant year-over-year improvement. She finished 15th in the 2019 Open, so watch closely to see if she can maintain her 10-position climb. Hayley Adams is fighting to climb above the cut line after a tough 242nd place finish in 20.1. She's followed up with an average finish of 16th in events 2 and 3. Outside the cut line for women are some big-name athletes. Rachel Garibay is in 34th after a 154th place finish in 20.2. Amanda Barnhart is in 48th, Alessandra Pacelli in 49th, and Turi Helgadottir has improved in 20.2 and 20.3, but sits in 95th. Jacob Hettner submitted a score for 20.3 doing handstand push-ups on his fists to accommodate long forearms. It remains to be seen if CrossFit accepts this in their workout standards, but he sits in 25th right now and could fall significantly if they reject his video submission. Lefteris Theophanidis still leads the men's field after 3 events. The defending national champion of Greece finished 4th in the 2019 CrossFit Open but fell to 60th in his first CrossFit Games appearance. Controversy surrounds his 20.3 video submission. We will see how this one shakes out. Patrick Vellner sits in 3rd behind Theophanidis and Björgvin Carl Gudmundsson. He was a favorite to unseat Matt Fraser in 2019, but his 30th place CrossFit Open finish ended in him getting dropped from the CrossFit Games in the cut to 10. He's in striking distance to 1st right now and leads defending champion Matt Fraser by 6 points. Outside the cut line for men right now is Rich Froning, who has averaged a 10th or 11th place finish every year since retirement from individual competition in 2014. Ben Smith is in 33rd after a tough go at 20.1. Scott Panchik is in 44th after struggling with 20.2, and Brent Fikowski has dropped to 54th. He's usually not a top athlete in the CrossFit Open, so it'll probably be in his plans to qualify through a sanctional. Alright, we are going live to Diablo CrossFit in Pleasant Hill, California. Thank you for watching WODDITY's pre-show and sticking with our live stream of the 20.4 CrossFit Open workout announcement. Be sure to click the subscribe button for instant access to news and events. On behalf of WODDITY and the WODDITY podcast for news about CrossFit, I'm Ben Garves. See you guys on the competition floor.
Più classici, diciamo, nei primi eventi, ma tra gli uomini immagino che si delineerà tutto veramente tra il quarto e il quinto workout.
Sì, come ha detto Teo giustamente, ne abbiamo visti solo 3, conoscendo anche Castro sappiamo che ci può stupire non di poco con il quarto e con il quinto. Diciamo che sulla base di questi risultati non vedo personalmente grosse differenze rispetto alle edizioni precedenti. Non ci sono grandi gap per questo livello di atleti e quello è un po' quello che fa la differenza alla fine, non avere delle debolezze, delle weakness marcate in modo da performare nella media sempre abbastanza bene.
Allora adesso Giulia, io ritornerei ci manca un workout.
Ci manca il terzo.
Per il CrossFit Italian Showdown.
Esatto, per la prima giornata sempre.
Sempre un workout di eliminazione, il terzo e ultimo. Io vi ricordo che saranno nella giornata del venerdì per tutti voi che farete CrossFit Italian Showdown. 3 minuti di workout, 1 minuto di transizione, 3 minuti di workout, 1 minuto di transizione e questi sono gli ultimi 3 minuti di workout.
Siamo arrivati al terzo e ultimo elimination workout. Ancora una volta, il primo 3 minuti, 1 minuto di rest, 3 minuti del secondo, 1 minuto di rest, adesso avete ancora 3 minuti per il terzo e ultimo workout. Buy in 20 burpees box jump over, 40 cm per le donne, 60 cm il box per gli uomini. Il tempo vale come al solito come tie break time. E poi si arriva alla parte weightlifting. Col bilanciere corto, questa è la particolarità, overhead squat, max reps, 40 kg per le donne, 60 kg per gli uomini. Questa è la versione RX, la versione scalata, sempre bilanciere corto, stesso peso, 40-60, però front squat. 3 minuti di tempo. Arriviamo al terzo e ultimo elimination WOD. Qua ci sono i burpees che vi spezzeranno ancora di più il fiato e poi c'è la parte di weightlifting, attenzione, con il bilanciere corto, per cui questa è la particolarità. Il peso chiaramente rimane uguale tra RX e scalati, ma cambia il movimento. Okay, the third and the last elimination WOD, we have the burpees, and the burpees are always burpees, and we have the short axle. So the movement is changing from between the scaled and the RX.
Yes, here you're gonna be tired. You're done with 2-3 minute kind of full out pieces. I think your grip is gonna be really fatigued at this point, also from holding on to the deep ball, all the toes to bar, and your grip is gonna become a factor on the overhead squats, I think, as well. The burpees, steady, but it's really easy to lose seconds as well. So just move through the burpees at a good pace, remembering to breathe. I would try to finish that in about a minute. It's okay going like a little bit slower, but about a minute. And then quick transition to the bar. Get the bar in a good position overhead before you start moving, because you can get those reps counting pretty quickly. So I would probably think about 10 pretty fast ones, stop on top, catch my breath a little, and then do another set of 10, stop on top, catch my breath, and just try to focus like mentally. That would be my way to continue moving on that bar. It's going to be expensive to drop the bar because you need to clean it up from the ground, so you're going to lose at least, I would say, 7-10 seconds by just dropping, picking it up, getting it into good position again. I don't think the length of the bar is really going to matter. It's going to be quite comfortable. When your grip is fatigued, it's going to be better for you to hold a little bit more narrow on the bar instead of in that wide position. But the fatness of the bar is definitely going to come into play there. So it's going to be interesting. This is the final piece. You can push as hard as you possibly can there. So it's going to be fun to see who's going to break down mentally there.
E questa è pura strategia, sarete veramente affaticati, è l'ultimo workout dell'Elimination Day. Arrivate con il grip e con la presa che è da tanto affaticata sia dai toes to bar che dopo anche dalla med ball. Per cui per i burpees il consiglio di Annie è andare steady, andare con tranquillità, però tenendo il ritmo e respirando molto molto bene. Lei li chiuderebbe circa in 1 minuto. Poi una transizione molto veloce per arrivare all'overhead squat o al front squat se lo fate in maniera scalata. Lì il grip non è tanto il problema della barra corta, perché magari con i problemi che avete di presa derivanti dagli altri 2 workout forse la barra corta vi aiuta anche come distanza tra le mani. Il problema è la grandezza della barra. La sua strategia sarebbe arrivare a fare il primo clean, portarsi in overhead, controllare bene la posizione e poi fare serie da 10 riposando poi un attimo, sempre in posizione overhead e andando avanti. Questo perché? Perché una volta che vi riposate con bilanciere a terra vuol dire perdere 6-7 secondi e l'ultimo workout bisogna dare. Thank you.
Thank you.
Da workout a workout, andiamo da Giulia.
Assolutamente sì, perché abbiamo visto che nell'ultimo WOD, nell'ultimo workout di Italian Showdown ci sono i burpees e box jump over. Qui li abbiamo semplificati, abbiamo tolto i burpees proprio perché non piacciono a nessuno, come dicevamo poco fa. Ci sono i box jump over, abbiamo pronti i nostri giudici, ma soprattutto abbiamo pronti i nostri atleti. Marta contro Daniele si sfideranno. Vi ricordo che sul sito di Xenios è ancora valido lo sconto utilizzando il codice OPEN204 per avere il 20% di discount. I nostri atleti si sfideranno in 1 minuto di max rep box jump over e poi si porteranno a casa i gadget di Reebok e Xenios. Io direi che ci siamo. Andiamo col countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Giulia, mi sa che dopo stasera i jeans andranno per la maggiore nel primo tentativo degli Open dal 20.4 di domani.
Si va da Dio con i jeans, li voglio utilizzare anch'io domani.
Io da ragazzino dicevo a mia mamma sono freschi d'estate e caldi d'inverno per spiegarle perché li tenevo sempre addosso.
Il
Anche Matteo mi sa.
20.4 lo facciamo con i jeans, Zoran.
30 secondi, siete a metà ragazzi, dai, non mollate adesso. Che sono l'1:30 di
Dai,
notte? No,
è
mezzanotte
finito
e mezza.
praticamente. 20 seconds. 15. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time! Bravissimi, il tempo di Marta.
34.
34 box jump over, Daniele invece?
29.
Ah, hanno vinto le donne questa volta, sono
Attenzione.
molto contenta. Grazie amici, prendete i vostri gadget.
Sì, però qua non male. Allora, ha vinto le donne perché sul box jump over e lei è più bassa, per cui si passa più bassi, non c'è bisogno dell'estensione
lei
come
Andava più
standard.
forte, c'è poco da
Era
fare.
tecnica lei.
Ma no, perché lo dico ragazzi? Perché noi abbiamo avuto, adesso abbiamo circa ancora 3 minuti di tempo, non di più, per fare i primi guessing, perché abbiamo avuto i primi 3 workout che comunque erano dei workout short a livello di fisico, anche per corti. Tra l'altro, vedendo, se possiamo vedere la generale, qua su queste cose che ci sono, sulle attrezzi che ci sono, ci sarà il workout. Noi al momento abbiamo barre per trazione, abbiamo anelli, abbiamo box, abbiamo rower, abbiamo bilanciere. Allora, il primo guess, secondo voi, i due Mattei, cosa esce stasera? Matteo Pozzati.
Allora, io sparo un ladder, quindi ripetizioni che aumentano di muscle up e squat clean. Sì, come tempo, secondo me intorno ai 12 minuti.
Perché abbiamo avuto un 15, un 20, un 9, per cui dici un ladder a salire dai 3, dai 5, dai...
Vedo una cosa tipo 3 muscle up e se sono pesanti 2 squat clean a salire.
Bello, muscle up e squat clean, rig muscle up immagino, giusto? Rig muscle up. Piran?
Io vedo dei carichi, nel senso che dopo 2 workout così metabolici interessanti da quel punto di vista, secondo me ci potrà essere qualche test dal punto di vista della capacità nel weightlifting e nella gestione del bilanciere con i carichi alti. Magari non su
Anche in questo Open un workout a finestre, tipo con
that energy a lot better. Let's do this, our second heat of the Assault Fitness 20.4 Challenge, going up in 3, 2, 1, go. We've got 6 on here for Fabian. And this Heidi looking strong. 700 meters here for Heidi. What do we think big guy Ian's at? Ian is approaching 1,400 meters at 1 minute and 30 seconds. 1,450 here for Fabian. Almost 1,200 here for Heidi. All right, guys, you're 2 minutes in. You got 2 more minutes to finish the 2,040 meters. 1,700 for Fabian in the middle. Ian, there he is. He's at the finish mark. You're done. Ian, you're at 2,100. Ian just kept biking. You guys hear it from Ian. And unofficial 2 minutes and 30 seconds for Ian. And is Heidi looking strong, just about to cross the 2,000 meter mark. We're trying to get 40 seconds. And there it is, 2040. 3 minutes and 25 seconds unofficially for Heidi to wrap up the Assault Challenge for 20.4. Are you guys excited to meet some of the first to hear 20.4? With like the internet delays.
Happy Halloween, everybody, and welcome to Diablo CrossFit in beautiful Northern California as we get set for the live open announcement of 20.4. I'm Sean Woodland with Tommy Marquez. Tommy, appropriate on Halloween, we're at Diablo, as you know, Spanish for scary chicken with large talons.
I don't know, Sean. Maybe it's just my last name, Marquez, but I think it means Diablo.
Well, we'll agree to disagree on that one. How's the Open going for you, man? It's week 4.
You know, one of the great things about the Open is that we get to compete. Everybody does, and it can be whether it's just with your gym or with your best friends or people that you know. I've got a friendly competition going on with Justin LaFranco, the Morning Chalk Up.
Going for the sweep.
I'm going up 3-0 right now, so, you know, things are going great.
So this is week 4. Things sort of jumped up a notch last week as far as the skill level is concerned, but so far we've had a really good test through these first 3 weeks.
Yeah, like you said, the first 2 weeks are usually a little bit more accessible, but overall, one of the themes for the Open this year has been new horizons. You know, we've seen some new stuff thrown out, some curveballs. In week one, we got what, in my opinion, is arguably the hardest week one workout we've ever done in terms of pain. And then we got to see thrusters show up for the first time outside of the final week of the Open. Not only that, but dumbbell thrusters made their way into the Open for the very first time. And then last week, we saw a repeat show up, not in the original week that it was programmed, for the first time since 2014. So a lot of new shakeups and curveballs, and I really hope we get to see another one tonight.
A lot of speculation as to what's going to go down tonight. There are really two ways that you can try and figure that out. The first, look at what we haven't done. That makes too much sense. The one everyone likes to do, though, is go to Dave Castor's Instagram and look at the clues. I don't think they mean anything, but I'll give you credit. You have a theory that makes a little sense on this one.
First off, throw logic out the window, right? We're going to put on our tinfoil hats and start reading into Instagram posts way too much. But Dave Castro posts kind of this old folk tale about a husband and wife hunting owls. They got a little greedy, kept calling more and more owls until they ran out of arrows, and progressively they got overwhelmed and, you know, got killed by the owls. So that tells me we're going to see something that's going to progress either in loading or rep scheme in some sort of fashion until probably we hit some sort of barrier that's too much for most people.
All right, well, we'll see if that happens. We're going to have that announcement in just a second. But first, we have a really good field here tonight. 3 athletes who obviously all very talented, but all sort of different as well.
Yeah, you know, these matchups can be intriguing for a couple of different reasons. You know, if we have 2 very similar athletes, and no matter what you throw at them, it's going to be a good race. But these 3 athletes are very different in their respective skills and talents and what makes them elite. I think each athlete has a particular skill set that could allow them to win the workout depending on what ends up coming out. So it really kind of ramps up the excitement for everybody to find out what that workout is going to be.
All right, well, let's find out what that workout is going to be. I think we're ready to go. You've had enough of us talking. You guys get enough of that during the week. Let's send it over now to Logan Vanderpool. We'll meet the 3 athletes who will be throwing down here at Diablo CrossFit for 20.4.
All right, guys, our first athlete taking to the Diablo competition floor is making his first CrossFit Games Open announcement appearance and looking to make his way back to the CrossFit Games for the 3rd time. From Lumberyard CrossFit, please welcome Jason Carrroll. Next up, we have an athlete hoping to capitalize on his current 12th place on the leaderboard to make his way back to the CrossFit Games for the 4th time. Please make some noise for the CrossFit Cowboy himself, Shawn Sweeney. And last but certainly not least, we are graced with true CrossFit Games royalty. He is the only athlete in history to have competed at the CrossFit Games 11 years in a row, where he stood on the podium 4 times. I give to you the 2015 fittest man on earth, Ben Smith.
All right, guys. First, I wanted to thank you guys for coming out to Diablo Throwdown for 20.4. We're going to kick it off with a chipper, beginning with 30 box jumps, followed with 15 clean and jerks, 95 pounds. 30 box jumps, 15 clean and jerks at 135. 30 box jumps, 10 clean and jerks at 185. Starting it out with a new movement, single leg squat for 30 reps. 10 clean and jerks at 225. 30 single leg squats. 5 clean and jerks at 275. 30 single leg squats, 5 clean and jerks at 315. You guys have 20 minutes for a time cap. Now, for a quick recap, quick recap. Chipper, we're going to start off 30 box jumps for the first 3 rounds. Then it goes to pistols for the next 3. It's a descending rep scheme on the barbell, decreasing the reps every 2 rounds. On to Shaun and Tommy for the thoughts.
Oh my goodness, Tommy Marquez. What in the world?
Oh, man.
I mean, there it is on your screen. I mean, you kind of called it. We're going to have sort of an ascending load, descending reps, but since it's Halloween, this is like someone knocks at your door, you're thinking to get some cute trick-or-treaters, and it's a flaming bag of you-know-what left there by Dave Castro. This is not going to be fun.
Or you walk up, knock on the door, and they give you like a pencil or an eraser or something that's not sugary and delicious. But, I mean, you look at a couple of things immediately jump out off the page. We get to see a new movement show up for the first time, single-legged squats, known to many in the community as pistols. For the first time showing up, it's showing up in a pretty wicked way towards the back half of the workout. And then we get to see the skill and the loading both go up, something that we usually see towards the later half of the open when we start to separate the wheat from the chaff, if you will. And not just any loading, we're going to see clean and jerks up to 315 pounds. So you're going to put 3 big wheels on either side if you're going to get to the end of this workout.
And the common theme here is, and we saw this last week, there is a portion of this workout where we all can play, and then it's time for the elite to take over, and that's once you get to those single leg squats, and that weight really starts to go up.
Oh, yeah, and that's when we get to right about the 225 barbell, right? Most people are pretty comfortable, at least on the upper echelons, at a 225 barbell for a clean and jerk, but I think it's going to feel a lot different once you have those 90 box jumps and some single-legged squats under your belt.
All right, let's talk about your 3 keys to this workout.
Yeah, a couple of keys. We're going to keep it simple here. The first one is find your rhythm. Now, you have to look at the totality of this workout. You've got 90 box jumps, 90 single-legged squats, and 60 clean and jerks in total. That's a lot of reps of each. So finding a rhythm as far as cadence, as far as pacing, that you can hold not just in the beginning, but towards the middle parts of that workout as the workout drags on is going to be key. The next one, because you have to read the rules, be very careful here. Adjust your technique. Look at the rule book. For the box jumps, you can actually step up the box jumps. You don't have to jump. So that's another technique you can employ depending on if it benefits you. Also for the clean and jerks, you don't have to necessarily squat it. You can power clean. You can power clean and catch right up into the jerk. 2 very different techniques that could save you time as things go on. And don't be afraid to fluctuate between these techniques depending on what best suits you, especially as it gets heavier. And most people are probably going to squat, at least the clean anyways, for most of us mortal people. Last but certainly not least, for these elite athletes in particular, I call it power and push, right? So it's a technique for the clean and jerk that I think is going to benefit some of the best in this workout. You see athletes able to power clean it, in the catch, immediately drive it overhead for the push
really
jerk.
good at that.
Ben Smith does this. We saw him do it at the Max Clean and Jerk back in 2013. It's a movement that's pretty common for the lighter weights, but the best athletes will be able to maintain that technique much longer and get an advantage.
We mentioned at the top of the show how we have 3 very talented athletes, 3 very different athletes, so I think there's something in here for everybody. Let's go through each one. We'll start with Jason Carrroll. What is he like? And what does he not like about this?
I think Jason Carrroll really likes the pistols. It's unfortunate that they come so late in the workout for him. And mixed up with the box jumps, I think Jason is a little bit better comparatively in some of the lighter bodyweight gymnastics type movements. He shouldn't have a problem as far as mobility is concerned, which is usually an issue for the pistols. But I think he'll like those movements in particular. Unfortunately, those pistols come with something he's not going to like, and that's the heavy barbell. Compared to Shaun and compared to Ben, he just doesn't have the upper echelon strength relative to those guys that he does, across the board. And that's the same with snatch, with clean and jerk. I was talking with him before. That was something he was nervous about possibly showing up tonight. As far as Shawn Sweeney goes.
Yeah, because he's having a great open, 12th place overall right now.
His best open ever by far. There's a few things that I think he likes in this workout in particular. I think that he likes the duration. One of the things that Shaun is really good at that's kind of hard to quantify is his ability to just suffer. You get some of these long, grueling chippers, these workouts that just kind of mind-numbingly, tons of reps. I think that's when Shaun really excels, puts his head down, and just really grinds. Unfortunately, the heavy barbell and a lot of below parallel is present in this workout, and I don't think he's going to like that. I spoke with him earlier. This is the first season in a few seasons that he's been healthy. He's been dealing with some lower leg issues, particularly a hip issue that prevented him from squatting, not just for volume, but for weight as well. He said the heaviest barbell he squatted came as a result of a clean, so it's not necessarily something he's looking forward to.
And what about, let's go to Ben Smith. We talked about him just a little bit with that technique that he can use on the power and into the push. loves a heavy barbell, but speaking of injuries, coming off that knee injury that slowed him down last year.
Yeah, if this is vintage Ben Smith we're going to see tonight, he's going to love. He's going to eat this workout up. He loves chippers, and particularly historically, he does really well in week 4 of the Open. It's typically his best finish in the Open overall worldwide. And you look at the pistols, he typically likes heavy barbell. He's the strongest athlete out here on the floor. He's going to like that. But the only caveat with those pistols is he's coming off a knee surgery.
Yeah.
Depending on how efficient and how mobile you are, these pistols, these one-legged squats, put a ton of pressure on the knee. So he has to move very carefully and very efficiently. He could lose time, but we get a good test to see how healthy that knee is right now.
These will be 3 of the first men in the world to take on this workout. Some names that came to mind once I heard the announcement as far as people who have a good chance of smashing this thing. I mean, look no further than the champs. Matt Fraser and Tia Toomey, I think, can really do well here.
Yeah, above anything else, they've displayed their fitness and capacity across every single domain that we've thrown out for them. For the men, I love Matt Fraser because of his pistol efficiency. Watching him do pistols is a thing of beauty. Obviously, he has the fitness to get through the box jumps. He's going to make relatively easy work of that 315 barbell. So I think this is a workout as the skill and strength goes up. This is something he's going to excel at. Tia Toomey's going to do great as well. I think on the women's side, Jamie Green is going to be something that's going to do really, really well with the blend of capacity, strength with the barbell, pistol movement, and I think Jacob Hepner too. He's one of the best in the world at pistols, and he likes these longer workouts.
That's who we think will do well. We're into week 4 now. To get yourself above that cut line is starting to run out. Start with the men. Who needs to do well this week?
Well, one of the guys on this floor needs to do well right now, Ben Smith. He's about 6 spots out from the qualifying line in the Open worldwide. And this is a great opportunity for him to make up some ground. Last year, he had to get an invite because of the injury, and he wasn't healthy during the Open. Right now, he's on the cusp, so we have an opportunity to really showcase how healthy he is and put down a performance in front of everybody that can help move him up. On top of that, Spencer Panchik, right now the highest-ranked Panchik brother, one of the only ones that's really in contention for a game spot in the Open because Scott went team. He's an athlete I'm really looking to hopefully make up some ground. He's about a dozen spots out. And then on the women's side, Amanda Barnhart.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, a top 10 games athlete last year.
This.
Yeah, had one of arguably a breakout season despite being injured with her ankle. We want to see how healthy the ankle is with the range of motion on the pistols. She's going to smash the barbell. She's second in the clean with Tia Toomey. She's an athlete that can power this barbell all the way through, power clean and just right to the overhead. So this is a good workout for her to start climbing back after a rough week 1.
Those are the elite. Now let's talk about the everyday athletes who are going to be taking this thing on because it's going to look much different than what we're going to see tonight. What are some tips that you can give to people out there who just want to get the best score that they possibly can?
Well, some of the things that I mentioned earlier definitely carry over here. So for one, the box jumps.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to step up.
Step them.
One of the things about this workout is there are a ton of interference. You take a look at when you're at the barbells that you think you're going to power clean, well, you're jumping, an explosive opening of the hip. When you think you're going to have to squat it, well, you're also squatting for the pistol too. So do those things like using step-ups, smart breaks and cadences to kind of mitigate the damage and interference so you feel better towards the back end of that workout if you plan on being in the workout at 20 minutes.
Yeah, and you mentioned the step-ups. Something you want to keep in mind about that, you cannot turn your box and use the corner if you're going to do that. You have to step up on the long end. And we'll talk more about standards as we get into the workout. But you're going to do this one. What are you looking forward to here?
Oh, man. I mean, box jumps and like the power clean and jerk overhead, I love that. The first 3 rounds of this, essentially, with the loading on the barbell and the box jumps, I love. It's like I'm a hip-driven athlete.
Yep.
I'm springy. That's just the things I've excelled at as a basketball player. I don't like the pistols. I would feel comfortable clean and jerking 275, but not after a ton of pistols like that. These long limbs don't fold up so well when it comes to the single-legged squats.
All right, I think we're ready to rock here. So enough of us. Let's get to the main event. Let's send it now to Logan Vanderpool to kick off 20.4 at Diablo CrossFit.
20.4 kicks off in 3, 2, 1, go.
We'll go through this, 30 box jumps, and then 15 clean and jerks at 95 pounds. There are 240 total repetitions in this workout, and we will keep you updated on where each athlete is in the workout.
And right away, you notice the technique that Ben Smith is utilizing compared to the other two. He's doing the rebound technique where obviously he hits the ground, rebounds right back up, but he's taking an extra gather step to kind of move his feet towards the back half of the box. That allows him to land a little bit more reliably on the rebound to make sure he's not off balance. Shaun Sweeney is jumping right down, and we've seen him a couple times already struggle to balance with that box jump once he lands on top of it.
So Ben Smith first to the 30 clean and jerks at 95 pounds as we are approaching the 1 minute mark. And now Shaun Sweeney on to his reps, and Jason Carrroll in third place. A lot of work still to remain here as Ben Smith takes a quick break.
And look at Jason Carroll's technique. He's almost kind of strict pressing a little bit, utilizing very little hip drive for the shoulder to overhead. You know, that could present a problem if he's pretty fatigued towards the back half, but this is primarily a leg workout. So he could be saving the drive, the hip drive, and the leg power for some of those later rounds when he gets to the heavier barbell.
And the clock on your screen is unofficial. We're past the 90-second mark, and now Ben Smith is done with his 15 clean and jerks at 95 pounds. Back to the box, 30 box jumps, and now the weight will increase to 135. And for those of you who are going to do this workout, you can have someone load your barbell. However, once you start doing the movements, they cannot move your barbell. So if you're doing clean and jerks and you drop it and it bounces away, you have to go get it. You can't rely on someone else to do that.
And towards the back of your screen, Shaun Sweeney has already received a couple of no reps for that same reason I mentioned as before. He's jumping right back down into his rebound, and he's unable to balance at the top. Remember, on top of landing, you have to show control at the top of the box while your hips are open. You can't be leaning back, falling back, and it's already cost him a few reps already.
The Ben Smith was first to the box. Shaun Sweeney was second in round 2, and Jason Carrroll is in third. Now, we'd failed to mention this at the top. There's some money riding on this.
There is. The winner of this workout will receive $2 grand, courtesy of Toyota of Walnut Creek. Second place finisher will walk away with $1 grand.
Yep.
So a nice little bit of pocket change.
And third place has to clean up all the weights. Ben Smith, first man to 135 pounds. 15 reps here. And then the weight will once again increase, but the reps will decrease. Approaching the 3-minute mark, 20-minute time cap. Now Shaun Sweeney, he's on to his set of 15 clean and jerks at 135. And Sweeney breaking them up from the beginning, choosing to go singles here. Ben Smith down to singles as well.
Interesting enough, Ben knocked out a quick chunk while he felt fresh on the barbell, knowing that he's going to create a little bit of a lead ahead of these guys, and then goes back to singles to kind of match up the pace with everyone else.
Ben Smith is through 10 of his 15 reps. And now 3 left to go for Ben Smith as he is your early leader here. 240 total repetitions, 20-minute time cap. And we are 3.5 minutes and change in, now approaching 3 minutes, 40 seconds in. Ben Smith on his final clean and jerk at 135. Back to the box, this will be his final set of box jumps, 30 repetitions, and then 10 clean and jerks at 185. Meanwhile, Shaun Sweeney has 2 reps to go, and Jason Carrroll is 1 rep back of him, so that's the battle for second place. And Jason Carrroll, also a member of that Trash Talk Thursday crew, and in 3 years, he has yet to be punished.
He's managed to kind of skirt the embarrassment of all the punishments that those guys are throwing left and right. Although, admittedly, out of the group, this might be a workout that could trip him up because of the heavy barbell at the end.
Ben Smith continues to lead. This is his 3rd and final set of box jumps. Once he's done with these 30, he will have completed 120, so halfway for those 240 reps.
I think Jason's really trying to save his legs here. You notice he has stepped down every single box jump through the first few rounds and continues to do so here. You can tell he's kind of worried about those heavier barbells as he gets later on. Interesting enough, he's effectively kind of doing the negative part of a lunge when he comes down for that, so I wonder if he's really conserving there.
Ben Smith now on the barbell. He's halfway through the workout as far as reps concerned. Now we're just 5 minutes 4 seconds in, so Ben Smith, your clear leader here. 10 clean and jerk now at 185 pounds. Shaun Sweeney done with his final set of box jumps.
And pay attention to when these guys come off the box. For the box jumps and the pistols, those are the marks for the tiebreaker here, because we actually do have a tiebreaker this round. So it's not just coming off and finishing what you think is the round on the barbell. Coming off the box or later rounds, the pistols, is what actually gives you the time break.
4 reps to go for Ben Smith at 185. Shaun Sweeney, he is on the right of your screen. He is in second, and Jason Carrroll sits in third. And again, $2,000 to the winner here, $1,000 to second place. Five to go for Sweeney at 185. After this, the pistols start. 30 one-legged squats after this set of clean and jerks.
I mean, all of this loading for the barbell, for the box jumps, all of this is relatively minor as far as these elite athletes go. These first few rounds are essentially a warm-up for these guys. Get their heart rate up a little bit, get their blood pumping a little bit, and then start to ramp up the skill and strength, forcing them to do the pistols and the heavier barbell once you're already a little bit tired.
Ben Smith, the first man on to the single-legged squats. He will now complete 30 of these. You have to alternate legs. And then it's on to the 225-pound barbell, 10 reps at 225. Shaun Sweeney now onto the pistols.
We mentioned Ben's knee injury that he's recovering for. That's actually his second knee surgery he's had one each on both knees so far. You can see how very methodical he is in his pacing. Shaun Sweeney actually going a little bit faster than him, maybe a little bit more reckless on the pace just because he has to make up ground. But Ben being very smooth, almost every rep looks identical. I guarantee you his judge is pretty happy about that.
Jason Carrroll on the left of your screen is now onto his pistols, and he's moving at a much more quickly than Ben Smith and Shaun Sweeney. And as you said, leading into this is what he's going to like, and this is where Jason Carroll's starting to make his move.
And he kind of has to, right? If he's not necessarily going to either finish this or compete with these other athletes, he's got to push each round of pistols to make sure he has the best tiebreaker possible, because that could be worth precious spots on the leaderboard for an athlete that's not just competing for a spot at the games, but for spots at sanctionals as well that are using the Open.
Ben Smith now through 162 of the 240 total reps as he is on to his 10 clean and jerks at 225 pounds. Shaun Sweeney on the right of your screen now onto his clean and jerks at 225. And now Jason Carrroll has made up some ground, and he will move to the 225-pound barbell.
Jason Carrroll really taking his time to this barbell, still relatively early on the 225.
Jason Carrroll with his first rep down. Meanwhile, Ben Smith just 4 to go as he continues to lead Shaun Sweeney, who is able to cut into Smith's lead a little bit on that first set of 31-legged squats. 8.5 minutes gone by here. 20-minute time cap should not be a problem for any of these athletes.
And Sweeney has made up some considerable ground. He's only 3 reps behind, make that 2 reps now behind Ben Smith going into these later barbells. You have to assume he's going to make up even more ground with the pacing on the pistols, given what we saw in the first set of 30.
Final rep of 225 for Ben Smith. That will count, and now 30 more one-legged squats, and the weight will increase to 275 pounds. Ben Smith threw 200 of the 240 total repetitions, so creeping closer to the finish of this workout as Shaun Sweeney is on to his final 2 reps at 225, and Jason Carrroll on the left of your screen is starting to creep up here. He has 5 reps to go. If he can get back on the barbell, he can maybe reel in Sweeney.
I think Sweeney maybe pushed the pace a little bit in the first half of those 225s and the pistols, because he's really starting to take longer breaks. Actually allowed Ben to kind of regain a little bit of his lead. So much so Ben took a break during the pistol and is already done through half of them by the time Sweeney has gotten. He was just a couple reps behind him through most of those cleans.
And Sweeney now is onto his one-legged squats. As Ben Smith continues to lead. Jason Carrroll with 3 reps to go at 225. Approaching the 10-minute mark, the halfway point here in 20.4. First time we have ever seen one-legged squats in the Open. When Smith is done with these one-legged squats, he moves on to that 275-pound barbell. 5 reps here.
Man, that 275 looked real easy for Ben Smith.
And now Jason Carrroll has finally finished the 225, and he'll move on to his second set of 30.
The one benefit of Ben Smith having such perfect technique on the pistols, able to keep his heel down, utilize his hamstrings, his glutes, posterior chain a little bit more. It takes a little bit of pressure off the quads, that front half of the leg that's used to be a little bit more springy that you see in this power cleans and that jerk overhead. You notice as he does these clean and jerk reps, he's a little bit more forward on his foot. It's a different set of muscles that you're using there, and he's managed to save a little energy there by having better technique on the pistols.
Ben Smith with 2 to go at 275. Jason Carrroll, meanwhile, is on his second set. He's on the left side of your screen of 31-legged squats.
As confident as some of these other athletes sticking with a push jerk or a power jerk, and Jason having to switch to the split, taking a little bit more time. This is really where the kind of crux of the workout is for him, and can he get through these 275 in a timely manner to give himself a shot at 315.
13 minutes gone by, 13:04 to be exact. And Ben Smith is just about done, and he is finished with his final set of one-legged squats. 5 reps remain for Ben Smith at 315 pounds. And now Shawn Sweeney is done at 275. He will move on to his final set of one-legged squats.
We'll see how this first rep at 315 looks for Ben. I think it's kind of a little poetic justice that we first saw kind of this technique applied where you catch and immediately drive over to the overhead position. With Ben back in 2013, we had seen it with the lighter weights, but Ben did it with 3 wheels on the bar at the games, and no one had really seen that before, so.
And the first rep is down for Ben Smith, 4 to go.
He stood that up really easy, but clearly you can tell he wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to get a costly no rep here. The last thing you want to do at the end of a workout is have to repeat a clean and jerk at 315.
Plenty of time for Ben Smith. We're past the 14-minute mark, 14:08 and counting. Jason Carrroll still working on 275. He just left view on the left. Smith working on his second rep. And that will count for Ben Smith. 3 to go for Ben Smith.
And that's one of the things that makes him so good for so long. It's really kind of the championship caliber athlete that he is. The ability to switch between those techniques seamlessly, right? He spent 90% of that workout power cleaning right into a push jerk overhead. And then suddenly when you have 315 on the bar, he switches to a full clean and a split jerk. And it looks like he's been doing that technique the entire time.
Jason Carrroll on his final rep at 275, and Carrroll will hit that, so Jason Carrroll will move on to his final set of 31-legged squats, and he does have time to make a few runs at 315. Now Ben Smith is looking like he may not give this another try. He looked over at somebody and just sort of shook his head, but he has 3 to go here.
Yeah, something looked a little off there. He looked to the side and shook his head no.
But Smith is going to make another run. He has 3 to go. Sweeney hits his first. Smith now with his third down at 315. 2 to go. Jason Carrroll still working on his final set of one-legged squats.
If I'm Jason, I'm rifling through these to get a better tiebreaker time here, because we saw him struggle with the 275. Doesn't look like he's going to have enough time to finish this workout, so give yourself the best shot on the leaderboard that you can and get through that tiebreak.
Here's attempt number 4 for Smith. 1 to go for Ben Smith. Past the 16-minute mark, 20-minute time cap, so Ben Smith looking like he's going to finish 20.4 and maybe cash a check for $2,000 bucks.
That'll pay for his plane flight back home to Chesapeake, Virginia. Super impressive. Ben making the trip across the country to be here. Shows up and is putting in some fantastic work.
Shawn Sweeney's second attempt at 305. The final barbell here. Sweeney will hit that. Now here goes Ben Smith setting up for his final rep at 315. And that'll count. Ben Smith takes 20.4. Give that man $2,000 bucks, Tommy.
That's a nice little payday for about 16 minutes worth of work, you know? I'd take that.
Well, Ben Smith with an impressive performance here. And he will finish unofficially around 16:40. We'll wait till we get the official time from the judges. And it's Jason Carrroll and Shaun Sweeney left to battle it out for second. $1,000 to the second place finisher here. And Sweeney has about a 2-rep lead on Jason Carrroll. And now, if he hits this, it'll be a 3-rep lead. And Sweeney cannot hit the jerk.
I think that right there was the crux of his workout. If he hits that jerk, he's got 2 left. He could go on the minute at 18 and 19 minutes, maybe give himself a shot at finishing. That's a lot of effort that doesn't necessarily go down in the scorecard.
Here's Jason Carrroll at 3:15. Carrroll will stand it up. Cannot hit the jerk.
That was still a fantastic save from Carroll on the clean. He started to rock forward, was able to regain his balance, pull himself back onto his heels and stand that up.
But how impressive was Ben Smith?
Amazing, and we talked about, one of the things I mentioned earlier was rhythm and cadence and adjusting technique. Ben Smith's technique looked flawless the entire time. Pistol technique on point, clean and jerk technique on point, was able to switch between techniques at will when things got heavy and more difficult. And you know, it's, what hasn't this guy done in the sport? And he just showcases why he's, like Logan Vanderpool said earlier tonight, he's CrossFit royalty.
Less than 90 seconds to go. Speaking of impressive, how about the tensile strength on that bodysuit that Marcin Sawyers is wearing? That thing is being pushed to its limits.
I really hope that's some carbon fiber thread that they use for that, because he's about to bust out.
And Sweeney will hit that. So 2 to go for Shaun Sweeney. We're almost at 19 minutes gone by.
So Sweeney
hit that mark now. 1 minute to go.
So Sweeney actually switched out his shoes. He put on his Olympic lifting shoes. He had his regular nanos on before.
And Carroll for the jerk. Almost had it. Closer than the last time.
I think Sweeney's gearing up for one last lift.
40 seconds for Shaun Sweeney. He's keeping an eye on the clock.
Gave the crowd a little treat there.
Shaun Sweeney came out, he handed out the obligatory photos of himself to the crowd, also some bracelets as well. And now the hat's on. This thing better go up, Tommy. It's the power of the hat, it will count. With 10 seconds to spare, Shaun Sweeney gets 4 of his 5 lifts at 3:15. 3, 2, and 1. And at that, 20.4 is in the books. And it's going to be Ben Smith who takes it. We'll wait for the official time, as the athletes are now going to recover a little bit. But you had, I know, an idea about how this was going to look going in.